All right, day number 5 today. As I did yesterday, we're just going to start with a short recap from yesterday. So basically what we did, we started mapping out the URL structure and the base architecture of the website. So we would have categories, stays, dining, wellness, beach clubs, activities, guides, and a blog potentially. Let me make this a slightly different color. And let me open the document again. So basically here we just defined the documents, and what we did, we now have this all predefined information that once we start building that, we can import this in Cursor as guidelines for how we structure our website. What I just quickly want to discuss today is the different frameworks that we're going to use. So for a few other projects that I built with Cursor, I used React for the front end, Next.js for the server-side rendering, Supabase for the database, and Vercel for hosting. Besides that, I use GitHub Desktop. It's just because I'm not a developer, I feel GitHub Desktop is easier for me to use, but it's also not that difficult to push changes live. So basically, GitHub is just where you store, not store information, so basically just a checkpoint. So like, okay, if I'm gonna push those changes live, like, is it conflicting with any other piece of code? Then Supabase is where we will store the information. So when we add a listing, all this information will be stored in there. Then a little bit about the setup. So let me just move it here. So there will be a few components. We would have the website. So this will just be the landing page, right? So we have the website. So this is where we will store all this information, and we have different pages. Then what we will have is, or what at least I want, is a admin dashboard. So from this admin dashboard, we can manage all the listings, we can manage reviews, we can change pictures, we can upload pictures. Then I'm thinking to also create a user dashboard. So basically, if we have visitors on the website and they also went to a specific or activity, they can let a review or ask a question, but then at least we make a profile for them, and then maybe in the future we can even make some sort of community. Admin dashboard, user dashboard, maybe in the future also a dashboard for the properties, that they can manage their own listing, like if they want to make updates to their listing, opening hours, etc. So this might be in the future as well. So let's say partner dashboard. So then those 3 elements will be sending data. So basically this data will be stored in the database. And for the database, we're gonna use Supabase. I use Supabase because when I started doing the development stuff with AI tools, Supabase was the most easy for me. If you want to use any other database, I think that's completely fine. So basically what's happening, there will be an interaction between the database and the different dashboards. And then the database will also push all the information to the website. So we store all information in the database, and the website will basically just requesting information. Like if we load a page for the stay, we get information from the database and we show it on the website. So yeah, let me just run you through the stack that I want to use, and then we can start mapping out a little bit more on what we actually need, so we can make a technical requirement that we can then upload into Cursor next to the URL structure. So yeah, for me, I built a few directories with WordPress. Like my background is WordPress developer, not really developer. I build a lot with Elementor. Like if you're a starter and you like stuff more visual, please have a look at Elementor. Like it's great. Like also if you learn how to build websites properly, the websites are fast. Like the affiliate websites that I currently have, they run on Elementor and they're performing really well. And it's way easier to set things up. Like you can just install WordPress on your website, you can directly start, versus this approach that we're gonna do in this series. It's more technical, probably run into many errors. Probably in the next few episodes when we actually start developing, we get into many errors. So yeah, it's really up to you. Like if you prefer to have a more easy approach, go to WordPress, get a server. Like I would recommend Cloudways. All my websites are with them. It's super fast, super good customer support. But if you just want to follow along with this series, we're gonna do it with React, Next.js, Supabase, and Vercel. The one directory that I built this way, performance super good. I like that I can just customize my dashboard. With WordPress, it's sometimes limited, where I now just have full control over what I want in my dashboard. So what I want to do now is just start figuring out what I would actually need. So for the dashboard and interface planning, there is a few things that we're going to need. So primarily, the main thing that we're going to need is something to manage our listings, right? So once me and my partner, we go somewhere, we review it, then we need to be able to store it in a database, so then we can put it to the website. So what I put here is listing management, create, edit, and delete. Like if we want to make changes, or if a property doesn't exist anymore or an activity, we can delete it. So we can moderate it. User management interface. So if we actually start working with partners, or if there's users that want to review stuff, we need a user interface so we can manage those users. So we have profile management, review, comment management, saved, favorite listings. This is also something that I want to work on. Let's say you visit a website and you want to plan your holiday. Maybe we can just make something that people can save listings or activities, and then they can have this in their dashboard. And then maybe if we know that person A is going to travel to Bali next month and there's some sort of discount available, that we can send them a notification. Yeah, and then user roles and permissions framework. So basically what I will do now, I'm going to put this into Claude and say that I just want a technical for our project. So I'm just going to tell it like, hey, I want to use those frameworks. And again, like if you are familiar with any other framework, like if you know PHP, if you know, I think it's called not Next, but Next and Vue.js, please go with that. Like I don't know anything. Like I did one React course once, but I'm definitely not a developer. So just pick whatever you're familiar with. And those AI tools probably know all the stacks, or what you can do, you can just upload the documentation of this platform and then, yeah, start working with that. So yeah, I'm gonna close this and then gonna open Claude. All right, I opened our own custom-made Bali Travel Directory consultant again. If you didn't know how we set this up, please refer to the previous episode. Again, we're gonna use Super Whisper and I'm just gonna talk to it. So, okay, so we are gonna build the directory with Cursor AI, and the stack that I want to use is React for the front end, Next.js 15 for the back end, Supabase for the database, and Vercel for publishing. I want you to help me map out a complete technical document that we can share with the developers, and that we always stick to those specific information. What I also would like is to you help me mapping out like what we actually need for the user management, for the listing management, for how we store components in our folders, like proper folder structure, that we always just stick to this, and also that we can create cursor rules, that cursor would always follow the right project instructions. And yeah, I just want a complete technical sheet. Right now, I don't want anything for the database yet. I will map that out later. I just want a complete technical sheet where you basically guide the developers on how we are going to build a project, what rules they should stick to, and like how we would actually sort all the documents and all the files properly in folders with components, etc. Then I just press enter. And then now I explicitly say Next.js 15, because in my previous project, I didn't say this and it moved it to 14, and I had a lot of issues with actually moving it over to 15. So when you're building this, or if you're watching this in 1 year, just make sure that if you know which frameworks you want to use, that you just always ask them to use the latest version. Also important, if you're going to use Supabase, I had the issue that I was using the old version. So they had .js, which was an old version of authentication. They now moved over to SSR. I think it's server-side rendering. Correct me if I'm wrong. Also, I'm going to check this once this is done to just make sure that it's the latest version, so that in the future we don't have to run into updates and other stuff. So I'll just let this do the work, but we can already start checking. So React 18 plus, I think it's the latest version, Next.js 15, Supabase. This we need to change. I guess you'll be able to change it in here, but maybe not. Okay, so Tailwind CSS. Also, I think we need to make sure. So for deployment, it's Vercel. For Supabase, make sure that we use SSR and not auth. make sure it's the newest version. Let me just update that. Let me check. So this now is updated. We have to wait again. Okay, so this is updated. Sometimes you just have to be patient a little bit. But imagine you have to do it yourself. So anyway, it's way faster than when we have to do it ourselves. Okay, so it's done. So let's have a check. React Server components as default for all page and layout components. Only use client components when interactivity. This is all a little bit nonsense to me. No, it's not nonsense. I just don't understand everything, right? I'm just a simple guy that knows how to prompt. This for me is important. So what I learned before, I made all this in other folders, and then the routing was very weird. So this now looks good to me. So this is basically an admin folder. So the URL of this will be, let's say, balitravel.com/admin, and then we have dashboard, listings, users, settings. Probably we need to add more later to this, but we can map this out later. Then for the authentication, we have sign in, sign up, reset password, and the layout file is basically how the page will look. Public, this will be the main website. So here we have the categories: stays, dining, beach clubs, wellness, activities, areas, guides, layout, and page. Page is the actual homepage. There's a comment here as well. And the components folder is basically where all the components that we make in a website, let's say a button or a header or a footer or navigation or breadcrumbs, whatever we need, what I'm basically now asking, and that's why we're creating this document, that whenever we start building, that it will always save in this specific folder. What I had with a previous document is just like I had no guidelines at all. And then it would just start putting it random in folders. Or let's say I would make a change to the admin dashboard. It would just put the components here. And the code got very messy very quickly. So what we're seeing here is just common for header, footer, navigation, listings. So if we have a listing card, you should, let's say, booking.com, just to give you an example. This will be a listing card. And then we create a component so that it's consistent over the whole website. And same as like the header menu or the footer, like we want it to be similar all over the whole website. So we create a component and we can reuse it in different aspects of the application. Admin dashboard listings. This is just utility library for everything we need. That is configurations and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Public images, icons, fonts. So I like to host my fonts locally. Usually it loads faster. And then images, the only image I would host is probably my logo. All the other images, what we're gonna do within the database, so Supabase, is create a, not sure if I'm saying this right, a droplet. I don't think it's called droplet. But basically it's like a small server on the server or a place in the server where we can store images. And then we would have one for company logos maybe, and then one for company pictures, like if we take pictures, and one for the video. And then with the code, we constantly fetch this information from the database. Middleware, actually in this project, I want to do more research into this. With my previous project, well, it's still one of my projects, but I run into a lot of issues with the middleware. I think it's basically how everything in your project is routing. So if I click on this, or where if I log in and I'm with an admin account, I should be redirected to the admin page. And if I'm logging in and I'm actually with a partner account, I should go to the partner page. So I need to learn more about this. I'm going to be honest about that. And maybe whilst I'm learning this, you guys can learn from that as well, because it's been a headache with my previous project. Okay, so here we have file naming, use kebab case for file names, else call case for components. Yes, that seems fine. I think this is also fine. User roles, guest, another guest with delayed read as only, user, editor, admin, that seems fine. The only thing I want to add, I think, and we actually need to check if that would look nice, because I've been using this and I'm a big fan. So this is basically a user interface kit. And what it has pre-set components. So if we would need a card, it already has this. The only thing we have to do is like pull it into the project, and then we can directly use it, which is great. The only thing right now what's happening, many people are using this UI kit. So all the websites look exactly the same. So I just want to check. Maybe I'll just ask Claude if this is wise. Still, you can restyle it, right? But I just want the website to have some unique look. So let's just ask it right now. So with my previous projects, I used ShadCN UI a lot. It makes it very easy to develop stuff. I'm just curious, if we use it for this project, do you feel that the website would look similar to all the other websites on the web right now, or we can still customize it enough and then make development easier by using a UI framework like this? That didn't record. I'm just wondering if we can use ShadCN UI for the website. The only concern I have is that it might look like all the other websites on the internet right now, or do you think that we can actually restyle them properly so it has a unique feel and look? Let's see. Apparently my pronunciation is not great. Okay, please add this to the technical specification document so we have that included there as well. Not sure if it's making edits or it's just rewriting the whole thing. Okay, so now this should be updated. So Supabase version. Okay, so this is all done. Then again, what I'm gonna do is just copy this. I'm gonna put it in our here. So this is technical sheet. Basically now we're just preparing for when we actually start developing the platform, right? Before that, we also need to do some branding research. We actually still need to buy the domain, set up everything there. I have no clue yet about the name. Usually I would first figure out a name, but right now I don't have. Then what I also, for the last thing I want to do today is ask them to create rules for Cursor. So in Cursor, the code editor we'll be using, you can specify specific rules per project. So that would always follow the same rules. So for every prompt we do, it first checks the rules and then starts building. Okay, so based on this technical specification document, can you create specific rules for Cursor AI that I can input in the code editor so that it would always follow the same rules? So make a few basic rules that it should always follow and that I can easily import into Cursor. Let's see what it comes back with. I don't think we need it in this format. We could quickly check. Okay, so I opened a new project and then where you go is settings, Cursor settings. I think under rules here. So this is in general the rules, but then you can set project rules, right? So let's say my custom rule. So what we need is description, auto attach. I don't think we need this. So we need description and output in MDC. We need a title like rule example, description, and then the rules in a .md format. I actually want to do some more research into this. Maybe there is a how to create Cursor rules. Let's just see. Can you base it on this documentation? See here, Cursor rules, Next.js, React and Tailwind. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna figure this out, and in the next episode, I will just share it with you guys on how I actually defined my Cursor rules. Then if you guys after are still interested in how I actually fetched it, I'm happy to share that. But I think right now, it's not the most important. So what I'm gonna do right now, so what we have so far, right, is we know what people are searching for. We know it's for accommodations, for activities, for dining. Everything we just covered, like how they are searching for it. Then yesterday, we figured out how we're gonna structure the URLs. And again, just to show you again, this is our website architecture, right? So we have stays, dining, wellness, beach clubs, activities, guides. And under this, we have categories, hotels, resorts, restaurant, etc. And then all the stays will fall under this. So it will dash stays and then the name of the stay. Then today, what we did, we have our technical stack document, explained why I picked this stack. As again, there's no preference, like whatever you want to pick, just pick. I just found this approach quite good and I just want to learn more about it, right? Same as I mentioned just about the middleware, I just want to learn more. WordPress still a good pick, nothing against it. So we have the outline for the admin dashboard, for the user dashboard. public facing website. I think I want to do this tomorrow. So basically we're just going to map out like what kind of pages do we need. So we would have a homepage about, and what information do we store on the different pages. So this we're going to do tomorrow. This we have user roles, permission matrix. No, we're going to do this when we finally define the database. Authentication flow. Yes. So, okay, so basically we're getting quite far with the project. Not with the project, but with the setup of the project. Tomorrow, I think we're going to map out which information we need on different pages. So we'd have category pages. We have single pages for the stay, single pages for dining, single pages for alternatives. So that's going to be a lot of management. So probably tomorrow is going to be a long episode. Then we have the technical sheet. We have the sheet for the URLs. We store it here. And then from that moment onwards, I think we have one more day to do some design inspiration. And then I think we're going to set up Cursor and start building the project. And then we can actually start making some progress. And you guys can actually see on how I do this, or how I will fail at this, or how I will learn stuff. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. So hopefully see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, that's it for today. See you guys tomorrow and have a good day. Bye-bye.